Medicinal plants are nature's best gift to mankind. Before the arrival of the Europeans and colonialism, traditional medicine was the dominant medical system in Ghana. Our forefathers were doctors. The advent of colonialism marked a turning point and marginalization of traditional medicine in Ghana by foreign contacts who did not understand the practice, basing their belief that the concept of disease and illness in Africa was historically embedded in witchcraft. In China, Dr. Tu Yuyu's discovery of the anti-malarial artemisinin derived from wormwood is credited with saving millions of lives for the treatment of malaria.
Your discoveries represent a paradigm shift in medicine, which has not only provided revolutionary therapies for patients suffering from devastating parasitic disease.
But we've had our own remedy for malaria in the form of neem trees and Cryptolepis sanguinolenta, locally known as Nibima. Why hasn't it been touted internationally? Are these herbs hidden from the world? When COVID-19 came, many asked if there was no herbal remedy for it. I'm here to explore Ghana's healing herbs and to understand why traditional healers are so far from the basic healthcare delivery system in Ghana. Victoria Mensah, a food vendor, is suffering from stroke, a condition which occurs when blood vessels in the brain ruptures and bleeds or when there's blockage in the blood supply to the brain. For 8 months, she's had difficulty walking and speaking. Allopathic medicine, she says, has not helped her since her diagnosis. So she's here at the Edu Herbal Clinic in Mankasim in the Central Region, touted as the best herbal clinic in West Africa for stroke.
Yes, I could no your continents, all could do. No, no day. Never how. Once and once a month, always him.
The Chief Executive Officer of the clinic, Dr. Edu Mohammed, says his knowledge of traditional medicine was passed on to him to help mankind.
My grandfather was used to do some herbal treatments. In 70s, 80s, I was with him. I saw that some people came there, which they could not even walk or do anything. But before you realize, those people will come and spend about a week or two or a month or more. Before I realized they were starting limping and then they can move and walk properly. So they used to call it Mubwe Yaloba. Whether unfortunate or fortunate, I found myself in one of the traditional herbal treatment man's house, just serving the man. His name is Obatampa. Then I was with him for long. So he too was doing the same thing. Then I realized that that thing was in my family. That man told me about traditional medicine, and in future is going to have a positive impact in this country. So we should always learn more about it.
Using the best of Ghana's herbs carefully picked from the wild, Victoria's treatment begins.
Sorry. We used to smear the body with our traditional powdered medicine mixed with a fomusa, and that one is like hot pepper. So we add that one to our traditional medicine, smear the body, the part of affecting the other part, so that that medicine will help her vein, the stiff vein, to be very flexible, so that she can able to turn it and then walk small.
Victoria is not the only one here seeking herbal remedy for stroke.
Me da sorry anapa. Na pe bia so ya me shebu ma bodwe ansana ma ko ba bia me ko. Me da hwe no hwe me ma me de plastic ba beto so na me hu se ma no achia. E na ya mi. Madam for doctor bia me nim no. Ana me friend na me ka chen so asama atu me ni o. No so and the Obama direction go hospital bi. Pa me direction me ko ho ku hu am. Omodem ko to bed so. And the machine dey the manu omode twen ya. Ti owie na ode plaster. Etare yes na doctor kan. Ode joso no ma me ya. Enti me ba fie nu na sister bi besra me fi. Enti obesra me na no abe. Wano no stroke na eye won. Na onimman bi wo doctor bi wo mankesim side o.
Abeku's treatment also begins with a massage.
For the massage, the best way you learn the personal recovery earlier to touch the acupoint. And when you touch the acupoint, either left or right, you may feel that any part of the body that you touch is.
The history of traditional medicine goes back to the creation. It's God's handiwork, a masterpiece from God. And our forefathers have been using it for thousands of years till our day.
When you read about the history of some of our ethnic groups, you realize that they will tell you that when there was a health problem, some animals will lead them to some plants. And when they made use of those plants, they were able to solve health problems.
From physical to spiritual use, medicinal plants in Ghana are used for healings and deliverance. In 1975, the dream and vision of a Ghanaian, Dr. Okwampofu, a renowned allopathic medical practitioner, also known as the Apostle of Herbalism, became a reality through the establishment of the Center for Plant Medicine Research at Mamponi Kuapem. In the early 60s, the president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, sent Dr. Okwampofu and others to China to benefit from the Chinese experience in herbal medicine. It was there that the seminal ideas of the center were sown.
At the time he came to Ghana in the 40s, getting to the 50s, there was this agitation for independence of Ghana. You know, we had our independence in 57. So the then colonial masters, they were not interested in associating or working with the professionals and the elite Ghanaians in society, because they felt they were behind the struggle for independence, causing for strike and all those things. So when he came back, the colonial masters did not want to work with him. So he decided that he will still practice medicine, but he will use herbs.
At the center, scores of medicinal plants are used for the effective treatment of different ailments, including prostate enlargement.
Monodora myristica. Now, the local name is arewa, and this is a sample of the fruit with the seeds in it. Now, here in the center, we use the seeds as a spice. So we have a cough mixture, and this seed is part of the ingredients, the plant parts that we use. We also have it in our balm. This is another plant species that we use here in the center. It is called Croton membranaceous. Now, we use this plant for a product called Euro 500. We use the whole plant apart from the leaves. So from the root, the branches, the stem is what we use for prostate enlargement.
Euro 500 is a product we use for a condition we refer to as benign prostatic hyperplasia or prostate enlargement. It's a condition that affects quite a lot of men age 40, 50 plus. As men age, oftentimes their prostate becomes enlarged. For some people, it doesn't give them any serious symptoms, but others, it gives them terrible condition to the extent that for some people, it may require surgery. But we have this product that can help reduce the pain and allow you to pass urine freely and then shrink the size of the product for you to live in a good condition. And we have been able to formulate it as a capsule. So now we have it in a good dosage form for anybody who wants to. We are now planning to start advertising and then make it available for everybody who needs some to use.
But why hasn't the world made much noise about Ghana's own? The World Health Organization acknowledges over 70% of people in developing countries such as Ghana rely on traditional medicine. About 40 years ago, the World Health Organization put together health experts at a meeting in Brazzaville to provide definitions on traditional medicine. The definitions concluded on included the sum total of all the knowledge and practices, whether explicable or not, used in diagnosis, prevention, and elimination of physical, mental, and social imbalance, and relying exclusively on practical experience and observation handed down from generation to generation, whether verbally or in writing. Traditional medicine knowledge may be passed on orally from generation to generation, in some cases with families specializing in specific treatments, or it may be taught in officially recognized universities.
I remember one man called Nana Dobro. He's late. At that time, he had a medication that he believed was good for HIV/AIDS. You see, that at that time was a traditional medicine part of the practice. He had used the medicine for a very long period to heal and treat people of HIV disease, and it has worked. But the moment he came out and wanted to promote the medicines, then the scientific class started asking for evidence. They do not want to treat Nana Dobro's claim as a traditional medicine part of the practice, and they were looking at it from the herbal medicine point of view. First, he was asked to go to the Center for Plant Medicine Research, which he did, and there was no help. He was later referred to the Ngugi Memorial Research for Medical Practice, which he also did, and there was no help. So apparently he died with the knowledge. And I tell you, there is no single person who can tell you Nana Dobro's formula was this or was that.
Nibima is a medical herbalist. His knowledge of traditional medicine was passed on to him orally.
From my father and my brother, yeah, and the people still help me.
Today, he is visiting a client who has issues with blood circulation and stroke. His client prefers traditional medicine to going to the hospital for treatment. This, he says, has helped in his recovery.
Madana, misunda se misunda wo danu se mashuasi. Misora mitumi sore. Na misoria na miside akof. Edrona minimu enumu ena ama mahori abasro akra. I
received a call and he's not well. Something's a stroke and I let him come. Then I give him the medication now. Some short time, 1 week time, then he started working.
In 1878, the British passed the Native Customs Regulation Ordinance that outlawed any practice or customs that offended the sensibilities of the white man. As a result, most traditional healers went underground to practice their trade.
Hello Ghanaians, good evening. The Ministry of Health has confirmed 2 cases of COVID-19. The cases were confirmed on the 12th of March and the first cases to be reported in Ghana.
In 2020, the raging spread of the coronavirus and the global economic fallout from measures to contain it created a gaping demand for a cure. The search to find a cure led many to ask if there wasn't any known herbal remedy to fight COVID-19. These questions led me to seek answers.
My name is Prophet Desmond Abrifa, and I'm here to introduce miracle herbs for COVID-19 coronavirus. I saw a man sitting down and he said, "You are asking me something. What is that?" And I said, "Oh, I need the vaccine of coronavirus." So he said, "Okay." So I saw a big book and the man was opening the book and he just asked me, "What do you just said?" I said, "Coronavirus." So he went through the book and he saw it and he circled it. Then he said, "Okay, go to the bush." So I saw a forest over there and he said, "Go there." I took a Uber, yeah, to how do you call it, Amasaman area there. Then I go and look for these particular leaves.
After much prompting, Prophet Desmond agreed to have samples of his medication tested at the Center for Plant Medicine Research at Mamponi Kuapim.
I'm here to present the medicine for COVID-19 coronavirus.
Have you preserved the sample? Or it needs to be preserved?
We've not done it.
So
this is a raw leaves.
Because you haven't preserved, we will keep it in the refrigerator so that it doesn't go bad.
Yes, please.
The very first experiment we will run on Desmond products is to make sure that it is safe, and we use laboratory animals for that.
It's the day of reckoning for Prophet Abrifa Desmond. He's returned to the center.
Finally, you are coming for your results. What are your expectations?
I'm praying to God that there will be a good result.
There were 3 tests that were run on the product, which was meant for treatment of COVID-19. And the first one is on the acute toxicity studies. And the report shows that it didn't show any acute toxicity, which means that when given to the rat, none of them died. The total microbial load, that is the aerobic count, you have 1.1 times 10 to the power 5. The cutoff is 5 to the power 4, which means that what was found in the product is more than acceptable limit using the BP 2019. And then easternmost, the cutoff is 5 to the power 2, which is 500 coloniform unit. But the result we have here is 4 to the power 5, which is way above the acceptable easternmost limit, which means that microbial load in the product is too high.
However, the actual test to determine if his herbal medication is indeed efficacious against COVID-19 has not been conducted.
At the moment, we have to look at how best we can test product with it. Because at that time, the disease was still evolving and people were still gathering materials to test, even to test for the organism itself. We didn't have the culture system and all. There was a big challenge. So we decided to look at simple microbial activity of the product. That will even give us an idea. That does not necessarily mean that if it's not efficacious against bacteria strain, it will not be efficacious against virus. What it means that, you see the last comment, a sample of the product may be subject to further analysis, including antiviral assays, which we have prepared to do. We are in discussion with other institutions, which now have the system to test the product. However, we cannot go for it because microbial load is too high, which is the first screening stage. He has to work on that one before we can look at the other.
He's disappointed but has vowed not to give up.
I think he said we can do the further. So I'm looking forward where the next steps. That's all.
Currently, no known medicinal or herbal product has proven to be efficacious against COVID-19. The World Health Organization and Ghana's Food and Drugs Authority caution against the use of traditional medicine that has not been scientifically tested and proven to fight the coronavirus.
Sometimes it's surprising that those who are making claims that they have a cure, we don't know where they saw COVID, we don't know where they tested the medicine and the rest. But if you suspect that it could be helpful, fine. There are processes through which such medications could be taken through to have the FDA final approval and support for use. Virus can only be killed by a virus. Okay, so if it is a treatment for COVID, then it must be a herbal medicine or herbal combinations that is killing the virus. So if you give somebody an immune booster or immune support or immune activator or whatever adjectives they will call it, it is only helping the body improve on the immunity. It is not killing any virus. We haven't registered anything for the treatment of COVID.
So this is Cryptolepis sanguinolenta, Nibima. This is the plant that I'm sure most of you have heard about recently concerning its clinical trials for COVID-19 that has been approved by the FDA.
We are researching in collaboration with KNUST to make sure that, like Nibima, we have one of our products here that we are using to make sure that we come out with something, a treatment for COVID-19. And at this stage, the partners have decided that we will make sure that the findings come out instead of giving up updates. So I can tell you that we are working very seriously in this area.
On 1st February 2021, Ghana's Food and Drugs Authority, together with the National Medicine Regulatory Agency, issued a press release approving a herbal medicine, Cryptolepis sanguinolenta, locally known as Nibima, for clinical trials for the treatment of COVID-19. But long before that, the medicinal property of the drug was touted but not widely advertised. In 2017, Research scientists at the Center for Plant Medicine Research unveiled the numerous medicinal properties of the local plant Nibima. A preparation of the plant had been prescribed at the Center for Plant Medicine's Research Clinic for malaria patients for more than 5 decades. In a book chapter entitled The Golden Roots of Cryptolepis sanguinolenta, Mark Blumenthal, founder and executive director of the American Botanical Council, expressed his surprise about the capabilities of Nibima, stating why more attention is not being paid to this potential life-saving plant Nibima is a mystery. What do we need to put in place to ensure that the plant is the most preferred choice for the treatment of malaria, as the Chinese have done with artemisinin?
If you take Ghana, for instance, the whole Ministry of Health or government, for instance, can say that we want to develop maybe 1 or 2 herbal products for national use every year. It is a national policy that will be funded by government, and government will see that. Then that is what the Chinese did. Research involves a lot of money, and before somebody can come out with a pure compound that will be useful for clinical use, it's millions of dollars, and they would want to get their money back, and that is why it is so. So the big industries for a long time have not shown interest in developing plant medicine because it doesn't make economic sense. You won't get your money back for most cases.
I'm here at the offices of the Ghana Federation of Traditional Medicine Practitioners to find out what they have churned out since the outbreak of COVID-19 in Ghana. Executives here tell me they've been working round the clock to provide treatment and remedies since the COVID-19 outbreak. It submitted a list of 33 drugs for approval to the Center for Plant Medicine Research for analysis and testing.
They have failed all the products except 2. We send it again, they have failed all since the COVID started. So we are trying to think there is an agenda they have met. This is what we are trying to think. When you send it to Mampon, they will fail it. When you send it to Lagos, they will fail it. All the research institutions will fail it.
COVID-19, we were able to treat some people who were positive and now they are negative. I didn't tell anyone. Since the medicine sent to the ministry was just said that we should find a way to deal with it. Now we find a way to deal with our members who are suffering from COVID-19.
We don't have a single COVID-19 rep on any of the committees from presidential level to unit committee. We wrote a letter. We asked the ministry, the director, that she must talk to Ghana Health Service to come and educate traditional medicine practitioners on the new COVID-19 variant. Why won't they also give us some sensitization like they are giving the nurses, the midwives, the doctors, the pharmacists and others? What at all have traditional medicine practitioners done to this country wrong?
The medicines are now placed on the shelf in their office.
What we do is that when there are problems, sometimes the microbial load may be more than what is needed. We work with the traditional healers to make sure that they will be able to bring the right type that we need. If they bring the test and it fails, we work with them. And I can tell you that GATRAM, that is the Ghana Federation of Traditional Medicine Practitioners Association, is a very important ally. So I can tell you upfront that it's not possible that I will be sitting here and I'll let anybody sabotage them. It cannot happen that way.
Already steps have been initiated to bring traditional medicine into mainstream medical practice.
We are medical herbalists. So what you do is to ask questions based on what the person brought, why the person is here. So the person would basically tell you what the problem is. And because of your training, you know what questions to ask to get to a definitive diagnosis. What we can give you, and which is herbal. We have a whole lot of medications on the shelf. There are about 33 medications. There are some liquids, some powders, some teas, some ointments. So based on what we come to as your definitive diagnosis, we decide which one to give you.
On a pilot basis, in about 40 hospitals around the country, you can have access to herbal medicine, which is good. And I know that the Ministry of Health is trying to implement the inclusion of essential herbal medicine into the National Health Insurance. So when people will be able to access herbal medicine through the National Health Insurance, I think that a lot of people may opt for it, because now people have to pay out of pocket, and you see what will also happen.
Indeed, traditional medicine has come to stay.
If we want to talk about scientific proof, scientific evidence, we have to begin to build our capacities. But until we are able to build our capacity, we have to be able to document our traditional medicine as it is. The problem we are having here in Ghana is the inability for us to differentiate between traditional medicine and herbal medicine.
People prefer promoting the foreign product than our own. This is the problem of Africa. Until Africa realize and come back and start promoting their own product, Africa will never come up.
We are thinking that it is time the president of Ghana should get somebody like the Otumfo Nsumankwahine and Nana Amachi Barehine, who are independent people, and then they will advise on traditional medicine issues. At least, even if we get somebody at the presidency in charge of traditional medicine, we could also brief him like we are briefing you, so that he can also put it into consideration.
More investment must be made in the sector to make it not just an alternative, but a natural choice of treatment for all. This is not just Ghana's own, but Africa's own, nature's best gift of medicine to the world.
What